down. Shut the fuck up. Thank you. What a lovely welcome. I'm going to try my hardest tonight. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Rick, relax. We've already done his worth just seeing you. What? You're a legend. Shut up. Why is he? I'm not a god. Why is that? I'm just an ordinary guy, you know, going around talking to people. Sort of like Jesus. In a way, but better. Well, I've actually turned up. Thank you and welcome to Show Humanity. I don't know why I called it. I'm not a big fan. I prefer dogs, obviously. Dogs are better people than people, aren't they? They're amazing dogs. They're our best friends. They guard us, they guide us. There's medical detection dogs that can smell if you've got, like, AIDS. I'm not a doctor, but their noses are like 1,000 times more sensitive than ours. So they sort of go, "Poor, you're well HIV." Fuck, you know. And you go, "You can smell AIDS on some." Yeah. Then why didn't you smell it on the bloke I brought home last night then, you fucking idiot? They did the first 3 billion years by themselves, evolution and all that. And then we got involved, did a bit of selective breeding, you know, getting them how we wanted them to do jobs for us, you know, a bit more of that, a bit stronger, faster, whatever. And they're great at the jobs they're bred to do. And they love the job they're bred to do because they're genetically hardwired to love that behaviour anyway. Although the Rhodesian Ridgeback was bred to hunt lions. And I can't help but think that was a little bit of a shock to it when it found out. So we've done all the breeding, all the different pedigrees, all thousands, all around a big passing out parade. There's a bloke in a square with a white coat and a clipboard, and he goes, "Right, dogs." And they all go, what? Who wants to know what jobs they've got? We all do. Right. Okay, Labrador. Yeah? Do you like carefully bringing back dead ducks? Yeah. That's your job. Amazing, that is amazing. That is my favourite job. That is my favourite job. Jack Russell, in down rabbit holes. Yeah. That's your job. Fucking hell, best day ever. Best day ever. Miniature poodles, yeah? Do you like being carried around by elderly homosexuals? Yeah. That's your job. That's your job. Backs, yo. You're hunting lions. What? You're hunting lions. Fuck off. Yeah, you are. No, we're not. Lions? We get fucking mashed. Why can't Rottweilers hunt lions? They're shaking babies. Good boy. Good boy. You shake that baby if you want. Good boy. Cheers. So yeah, this is my first new stand-up show in years, if you don't count the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes, very different. Oh God, different vibe. 200 million people watching around the world, and it's live, you know, big thrill. But with that many people watching, there comes a bit of stick. Everyone's different. Everyone's a blogger. Everyone goes, "I was offended." Oh. Why? He said an horrible thing. We said loads of horrible things. Yeah, but that was a thing that I care about. And that's the thing about offence, isn't it? It's about feelings, things are personal. I don't care about the so-called backlash, you know, comedian in hot water. Ooh, you know. But my girlfriend Jane, she does worry a bit, and she reads things. Oh, why are they? What have you said? Why? I go, don't worry about it. They're not coming to the house. Fuck them. So I wind her up. I pretend I'm going to say much worse things than I ever would. Think of that. I have to make up worse jokes than I actually... just to scare my girlfriend. So when I'm doing the Golden Globes, we go out about a week before. It's in LA. We fly out, right? And I'm writing jokes. The ceremony approaches, and, you know, they release sort of more presenters, and I take my pick. I go, "Oh, yeah, I've got a good intro for them. Yeah, I'll do... Yeah. Mel Gibson. Yeah, I'll introduce him. Yes." And about 3 days before this land, right, just to wind Jane up, I said, "Oh, I've got a good intro." She went, "What?" I said, Bill Cosby would make our next presenter sleep on the couch. Please welcome Helen Mirren." I didn't do it. She went, "You're not going to do it?" I said, No, I'm not going to do that." Next day, I got her again. I said, is this too much then? I said, not even Bill Cosby carries enough tranquilizer to bring down this next magnificent beast. Please welcome Melissa McCarthy. I didn't do it. I'd never tell a joke like that. It's horrible. I was just doing it to annoy Jane. I'd never think of that. So don't, even on the day, on the way to the red carpet, or in the limo, just to wind her up, I said, oh, I'm going to start off with a funny little one-liner, just an old-fashioned joke. She went, oh, what? I said, what did the deaf, dumb and blind orphan get for Christmas? And Jane went, I don't know. I said, cancer. I didn't do it. So you're getting offended at a joke that doesn't exist. So I'd never say that in public. So to anyone who mattered. Anyway, so don't... Whereas I didn't have to worry about offending anyone because it just happened, so... The big controversy last time I did it was a Caitlyn Jenner joke. Oh, outrage on Twitter the next day. And by outrage, I mean a couple of people... It was transphobic. It wasn't transphobic in the slightest. It was a joke about a trans person, but the joke had nothing to do with that aspect of her existence. And that's the other thing about offence. People get offended when they mistake the subject of a joke with the actual target, and they're not necessarily the same. I'll tell you the joke. You make your own minds up. Right. So... It's live, so they go, and now your host for the 68th Annual Golden Globe Awards. Please welcome Ricky Gervais. They go, and they're all clapping, all the actors are looking up, smiling at me nervously. It's brilliant, right? So I just go, relax. I'm going to be nice tonight. I've changed. Not as much as Bruce Jenner, obviously. And I go, now Caitlyn Jenner, of course, and what a year she's had. Became a role model for trans people everywhere, bravely breaking down barriers and destroying stereotypes. She didn't do a lot for women drivers. Right? That's a clever joke, and I'll tell you what, right? It's late. No, listen, right? The subject of that joke is stereotypes. I'm dealing with the notion of stereotypes, right? So I start off saying, she's a real woman. Some would say a liberal, progressive attitude. And I go, oh, if she's a real woman, I hit them with the old-fashioned reactionary stereotype. She must be a bad driver then, right? And the target of the joke is a celebrity killing someone in their car. Let's not forget that, shall we? A celebrity killing someone in their car, running home and popping on a dress. That's the target of the joke, just so we're clear, okay? She was interviewed about a week later at some press conference for a show she was launching, now cancelled. And the press were around, and one of them, what do you think of the Ricky Gervais joke? And she went, maybe I should host the Golden Globes, right? And they tweeted that, and they atted me in, because they want a Britty feud, you know? It was clickbait, so I rose to the bait, obviously. I just sent back, let her host, just don't let her drive. Another website that was in the room, Entertainment Weekly, they tweeted a different headline, and they atted me in as well. And their headline was, Caitlyn finally breaks silence over Ricky Gervais. I just sent back, at last. She always breaks too late. Bring it on. Bring it on. But I'm a considered comedian. I like my jokes to be accurate and my targets to be fair. So I was engaging these people. I was saying, why is it transphobic? And they were saying, it's about a trans person. I said, well, that's ridiculous. That's like saying a joke about Bill Cosby is automatically racist. It depends on the joke. But I was talking to them, I'm willing to learn, and I found out my crime was that I dead-named her. Now, I'd never heard that term, you know, before a day after the Golden Globes, and that was saying her old name, and even acknowledging that she used to be a man. But she did. I saw him on the Olympic Games. It was decathlete. It was in everything. He was all over the place. Shot put and pole vault. He won a medal. He was famous. He was on telly all the time. But, you know, big, famous man. A huge, I don't know, but I mean, I'm guessing it probably means a big... But I've learned my lesson. Now, I'd never dead name her now. Now I know it's wrong. I'd never dead name her now. But, like, years ago, when, you know, she was a man, no, it was years ago, I'm saying, right, and she went to the doctor, right, and knocked on the door, and the doctor went, come in. This is years ago. I'd never dead name her now, but this is like a flashback before anyone... Do you know what So, like, come... And he went, hello, Bruce Jenner, because that was his name then. The doctor, you know, this was years ago, and the doctor went, oh, I'm Bruce Jenner, you big old... How you doing, boy, you fucker, eh? You big old... Oh, how you doing, boy? Come here, you... How you doing, Brucey boy? You all right? Right? And Bruce Jenner, because that was his name, this is years, right? So... Bruce Jenner went, yeah, not too bad, doctor. Not too bad, right? I said, what can I do for you, Bruce? Yeah, fucker, how you doing, boy? And Bruce Jenner went, because that was his name. Bruce Jenner went to that. And the doctor went, come on, Bruce Jenner, you know the rules. He uses his whole name every time for some reason. I don't know why. Come on, Bruce Jenner, you fucker, you know the rules. You can't bring your big old pole vaulting pole in here, mate, you know. Bruce Jenner went, no, that's not my pole vaulting pole, that's my enormous penis. Oh, right, yeah, seeing as it is your penis, you can bring it in here, but you should have left your shot puts outside. And Bruce Jenner went, that was his name for 58 years, I think. He went, no, they're not my shot puts, they're my enormous testicles. That's where I keep my testosterone and my spunk and shit, right? And the doctor went, oh, yeah, that makes perfect. I am a medical man, and that you're a big... You fucker. How you doing, boy? You're a big... You're big, and you would have a big old cock and balls. They're beautiful. They're a bit familiar, isn't it? And I go, no, but you must be very proud of them, Bruce. Bruce Jenner went, oh, this is going to surprise you, doctor. I want to get rid of them. And the doctor went, what? Why? Oh, they get in the way. Get in the way of what? Fucking driving, for one thing. So I'm engaging these people, but I had to say her old name because that gets me into the joke. I say, I've not as much as Bruce Jenner, and then I do the actual joke. They went, no, this is my second crime. I say, she hasn't changed, right? She's always been a woman because she's always identified as a woman, and that means she's a woman. Fine, if that's the rules, you are what you feel. If you feel you're a woman, that makes you a woman. Cool. You know, I'm not one of these bigots that think having all that is science going too far, you know? In fact, I don't think it's going far enough. Because I've always identified as a chimp, right? Well, I am a chimp. If I say I'm a chimp, I am a chimp, you know? Pre-op, but, and don't ever dead name me. Don't ever call me Ricky Gervais again. From now on, me Bobo. So, I'm gonna have species realignment. I'm half hair, to be honest. I'm sort of short with short legs and long arms. I sort of stoop like that. My back's getting hairier by the day. I've got fangs. I love nuts. Oh, I love nuts. And once, I was at the zoo, and I could tell people would look, so I just started masturbating. So, I am a chimp. I am a chimp, if I say I'm a chimp. I've got to live as a chimp for a year, then have hormones, get me all nice and hair. That'd be lovely, right? I'm going to stay a male chimp, so I can keep all that, right? A male heterosexual chimp, keep the same girlfriend. Jane will be happy. She loves me. She loves chimps, so, you know. And I reckon that's got to be easier for a man to turn into him. We're so close than for a man to turn into a woman in many ways. You know what I mean? A bit of hair and a bit like that, as opposed to your cock and balls ripped off and a hole gouged out into... No, I'm not a doctor, but that is the gist of it. I know which one I'd rather have done, and I'm not saying I think chimps are better than women. No way. Any ladies here, right? I can't see you, but to me, every single one of you is equal to a chimp. So I'm gonna have all that done. So I'll do all that. I'll do all the... I'll retain the ability to speak English in emergencies. If I'm talking to Jane, I'm going, she's going, what is it, Bobo? What is it, Bobo? The fucking oven on. There's a fire. What to me that if Caitlyn Jenner was being chased by a wolf, right, and there was a big fence and a long pole, she'd revert. She'd be over that easy. So, how was that done? All that, doing all that, right? I'm legally a chimp. I'll be properly chimped up. Right? I'll be able to use chimp toilets and everything, right? And then I'll be walking along Hampstead High Street, holding Jane's hand. Come on, Bobo. Like that, right? We hold hands now, so I don't know why she's suddenly all over me just because I'm a chimp, right? But we'll be all in love, we'll be matching jumpers. So, walking, come on, Bobo, in love, just two guys, And then, if a bigot in a white van slows down, goes, that's fucking disgusting, I just fling shit at him and run up a tree. And that's why that joke isn't transphobic, so... Cheers. So, humanity. What is humanity? What are we? Well, we've touched there. We're great apes. Not metaphorically, we're literally great apes. We are 98.6% genetically identical to a chimpanzee. We're closer to chimps than chimps are to gorillas. We left our common ancestor about 6 million years ago. We have the same life cycle. Same life cycle as any other animal, which is our parents mate, we're born, we grow, we mate, our parents die, all our friends die, and then we die. Now, my 7-year-old niece didn't like hearing that, right? But I said, you've got to look. I said, stop crying. I said, you're 7, you know, today. So... any more grisly and this party's cancelled. So let's take the first of those, right? Birth. It's already an odd one for humanity because the human being is born before the end of its natural gestation period. And by that, I mean, because of our evolution, our brain is so big, we have to get that huge head out early. That's why this is in parts and supple, right? And then we have to carry on gestating outside the womb. That's why we're so useless. Come to other mammals, right? A giraffe is walking along, it goes, oh, I'm proper pregnant, right? I'm gonna have a baby giraffe right here, right? Yeah, there it is. See you later, right? And the baby goes, can I get it's got to be fucking ready, right? We're helpless, right? Just think of that, right? 9 months, we're just growing in this perfect environment, just like that. Just everything's... It's like being in a little Kate Bush video, right? And then suddenly, and you're being squeezed out of an hole near an arse. You're covered in shit, they're screaming. You go, I can't breathe, so you fucking can, right? That's the first 1 second of life on Earth. You don't know where you are, you can't choose where you're born. I was born in a place called Whitley Estate in Reading, right? And no, I wouldn't have chosen that. I'd have chosen Hampstead. I did choose Hampstead, it just took me 45 years to be able to afford it, right? Very different, my upbringing, you know, to how I live now. I know I live a privileged life now. Hampstead's ridiculous. Oh, it's a rarefied place, right? It's just like the grandchildren of poets and painters and me, new money, right? But growing up, it was tough. I don't know what it's like now, but in my day, my estate was really sort of rough and scary. It felt like wildlife. I was weak and vulnerable, right? And there was danger around every corner. The school I went to was on my street, and I ran there every day so I didn't get mugged or molested. And there weren't paedophiles in Reading, because the murderers had killed a lot of them, but there was still a couple. I moved to Hampstead. Oh, my God, it's no crime. I saw a knife once in Hampstead. It was a palette knife. Just a bloke, just painting, oil painting, in the middle of the street, broad daylight. No one was gobbing on it or calling him Bender. It was weird, right? So, I know my life has changed drastically, but it wasn't always like that. And the reason I'm telling you this, as a famous person, you sort of read about yourself, you know, gossip and, you know, Twitter and everything. And one thing kept cropping up, even when I was preparing for this tour. Oh, he's out of touch. He's so famous. He's rich. He's mega rich. I am. I could have this place burned down for a laugh. No, but they say things like, oh, he's an observational comedian. How can he say things that relate to ordinary scum? And I say, don't call them scum, right? But even the papers, they try and round to it. I do interviews, and they'll always be able to say, oh, do you always fly first class? I go, no, often private. Right? And the number of times I've answered this question, right? They say, do you know how much a pint of milk is? It was meant to make you look out of touch, and I don't know, but that's irrelevant, right? Next time a journalist asks me that, I'm going to say, I don't know, mate, but here's £1,000. Run and get me one, will you? Is that enough? Is that enough? Yeah. Another question that I always get with the posh papers, the Sundays, they're doing a profile piece, and they're still trying to alienate you and make you look different, right? And they always say things like, no, you don't have children. I say, no. I say, why don't you have children? Which is a really odd question to ask someone, why don't you have children? As opposed to asking people, why do you have children, right? Let's ask the fat lady in the leggings why she's had 8, shall we? Oh, 9, that one just fell out. That one didn't even touch the sides or disturb a cigarette. That one, boom. Don't claim for that. People say, oh, it's selfish to not have children. How can it be selfish to not bring a life into the world that doesn't exist on any level? It's not as a long sort of cabinet full of potential ghost fetuses going, we want to be born, right? But I've thought about it, and there's 3 reasons I don't have children, okay? 3 main reasons I don't have children, and I'll share them with you. Okay, here they go. 3 reasons, right? 1, there's millions. The world's overpopulated. No one's sitting around going, oh, Rick's not having, we're going to run out. But 2, kids are scroungers, aren't they? I mean, from day 1, it's all me, isn't it? Feed me, clothe me, pay for my chemotherapy. Not my problem, son. Not mine. Luck of the draw, boy. Luck of the draw. It costs the average household in the West $200,000 to bring up a child, right? And you don't see that back. They don't want to pay you back. They're not grateful. They don't go, oh, thanks for having me every day. They go, I didn't want to be born, right? Even if they get a top job, right? Which won't, okay? You'll never see that money back, right? They just put you in a home, okay? And my kid, he'd be born into ridiculous wealth, wouldn't he? So he'd be a little cunt. A little Hampstead cunt. Running around with other fucking little Hampstead cunts. Being all Hampstead and cunt. I'm a little Hampstead cunt. Yes, I know, yeah. These are my cunty friends. Yeah, I know, it's obvious. I can tell from your little fucking cunty hats. Little Hampstead cunts, you little posh Hampstead. One hand, he'd know he was a little fucking Hampstead cunt. I'm a little Hampstead cunt. Yes, we know, everyone knows, right? He'd know that, right? And on the other hand, he'd know that he could never live up to being as brilliant as his dad, right? I'd say, you know, I worked my way up from nothing and I gave it to you and you're just a little useless Hampstead. Yeah, and that would probably prey on his little mind a bit, wouldn't it? Like 11, 20, sort of be a naughty boy, run with the wrong crowd, try and get out from my shadow, right? And then he'd turn to drugs, and about 30, he'd home and he'd overdose on my Afghan 20 grand, that was, right? And as he was there, right, convulsed, throwing up his fucking lungs, right? And with his little posh, high-pitched fucking death rattle, right? His little fucking dying words. He'd go, do you love me now, Daddy? No. No, I never did, and that's why you're never going to be born, you useless fucking junketed cunt. And 3, I'd worry sick about him. You know, I've only got a cat at the moment, and I worry sick about her. I check the door 3 times when I go out, so, you know, she doesn't... I put food and water in every room in case the door's shut. She's peckish for 20 minutes, right? A human baby, oh my God, the responsibility of a human life. Watch it sleep. You know, we've said how weak and vulnerable they are. It's like, oh God, you perfect little thing. You, oh, flesh of my flesh. Go to sleep in your expensive cot. Oh, night, night, sleep tight. Don't let the bed bugs. Oh, dead. Yeah. Just... Why? Why is it dead? It's just fucking dead, look. Fuck's sake. Fucking... What a fucking waste of time that was. Fuck's sake. Embarrassing. Jane? What? Come here. I'm in the shower. Come here. What? Fucking dead already. I just fucking... Fucking hell, Jane. You call that a baby? That is... If Jane was out, I'd have to text her, wouldn't I? What? You just... Baby's dead. She'd come back, whoop, what the fuck? I go, yep. Forget the Pampers, lol. No, but if it made it through the terrifying cot years, right? And then it was a toddler running around head height to my antique tables with sharp edges. I have to pad them so it didn't run into it and fucking cave its head in and die. And the social services come round, they say, is this your child, Miss Gervais? And I go, yeah. And they go, what happened here then? I go, it's a fucking idiot. I did think adopting for a while, a little third world child, because that would tick all 3 boxes, wouldn't it? You know? You think of it like, 1, right? I wouldn't be adding to the population problem. I'd be alleviating an existing problem. A young kid born through no fault of his own into abject poverty. He would have died without me. I can literally save his life and give him a great upbringing, right? 2, he would be grateful, wouldn't he? He'd want to pay me back, wouldn't he? Particularly if I let him know that all the other kids in the village, they weren't so lucky. They didn't make it out. All right? I'd tell him that early on, so he really bucked his ideas up, right? I'd go, Tundi, come here. Come here. Yeah. Go and pop a shirt on. You're not in Africa now, mate. Yeah. That's better. Yeah. Tundi, yeah. Water straight out of a tap, innit? Yes. Yeah. No, it's not free. It's Hampstead. There's a little, you know, but yeah, of course it's safe. Safe, fresh drinking water. Have as much as you want. Have a bucket full. Straight out of a tap. Fresh drinking water. There you go. Go and clean the car. Go on. No, I'd go, look, do you remember your friends in the village back in Africa? Yeah, they're all dead. Because a rich man didn't save them and bring them to Hampstead, so... Do you want to pay me back? Yeah, I bet you do, right? And the good thing about them is they can start work when they're about 6. I just call up Nike and I go, do you still make your stuff in sweatshops? Great little worker here, yeah. £1 a day's fine. He's got to start somewhere. Yeah, brilliant. And 3, if he ran round and caved his head in and died, and the social services came round and said, is this your child, Miss Gervais? I'd go, does it look like mine? I'd go, this is Hampstead, it's obviously broken in, mate. That's why I don't have kids. But even though I don't have children of my own, people still show me photographs of theirs, like I give a shit. I don't mean my own family. They've given up, right? I've got older brothers and sisters. They've all had loads of kids. Their kids have had loads of kids. And their kids are having kids. It's like a pyramid. There's about 50 of them. I don't know all their names. I see them at Christmas. They come running over, Uncle Ricky. They know I've got a bit of cash. And they go through my pockets and fuck off. They're being mugged by mice, right? No, I don't mean now. I mean strangers, right? So I can be busy, I can be working, I can be on the set of a TV show or film or something. I can be stressed, I can be producing it or directing it. And you get someone who comes in for one day, like has got one line or a stunt man. They come over, they introduce themselves. Oh, yeah, good to have you, I'll be with you in a minute. Then they hover, right? And they say, busy? I go, yeah, yes, yeah. I go, oh, you working the weekend? Not filming, but I'll be in the edit or something. So, yeah. They go, oh, taking my youngest to ballet lessons. Oh, great. Great. Yeah, she's 8. No. I got a photograph of her here. You know what? Show me if she goes missing. I'll keep an eye open in the woods. You know what I mean? But you've got to go through the whole polite rigmarole. You've got to go, oh, she's beautiful. Yeah. It's got to be that long. Too short and it's awkward. They know. You go, yeah, right. Oh. Too long and it's like, oh. She's fucking beautiful. It's a minefield, isn't it? I'm not out of touch, but I am spoiled. And there's a difference. I'm not out of touch. I didn't have any until I was 40. I've got the same family and friends, same values, but I am spoiled. Because opportunity and privilege spoils you. And it doesn't take much, right? I'll give you an example. Right, first time I started making it in America, the next time we flew, we were met at the plane by a bloke in a suit and he just walked us past the queue like that and straight out the other side, right? And the first time, I was just sort of horrified, going, oh my God, everyone's looking at me and pretending to be late. Oh God, wake up, oh God. Next time we flew, where's that bloke who walks us through? I'm not fucking queuing, right? It's quick. And whenever I fly to the States, I've got a place there, but I'm always working, right? Someone else is paying, right? So I go first class, BA. Oh, it doesn't get any better. Even if I was paying my own way, I still go first class, but Jane would probably be in coach. Right? It's 10 grand a pop. She's, yeah, that new Planet of the Apes movies on, she'd love that. She'd be happy, right? Right? But when someone else is paying, I say, Jane, get up here with me, right? Front 2 seats. Oh, they board us early. We're on the plane about 15 minutes before anyone else. It's, oh my God. They bring around these snacks, these like warmed, caramelized nuts in a bowl, right? Champagne. It's great. It's like a little day off for me. No phone or anything. It's like a little holiday flying to the States, right? I could do without the safety video. That's always a bit of a downer, right? And totally pointless. If you go into the side of a mountain at 500 miles an hour, the brace position does fuck all. Imagine if that worked, right? Going down, right? The flame smash, you go, I'll try it, right? You do that, ball of flames, you wake up, every dead, except you go, fucking hell, that's amazing. That is... And they always use that voice, don't they, on the safety. They always use that voice, that calm, hypnotic voice. Like, nothing bad will happen. They're saying horrendous things, but they're trying to make you think nothing bad will happen because I'm using this voice, so don't worry about it, right? They say things like, in the event of the plane landing on water, it smashes the fuck to bits, right? Well, they don't say that. They say, in the event of the plane landing on water, your life jacket is equipped with a whistle. A fucking whistle. So the plane hits the water, smashes it to bits. Everyone's dead except you by a miracle. You're bobbing around in the Atlantic Ocean, 4 degrees that water is, right? You've got about 15 minutes before hypothermia sets in, right? And by a shark, or you drown, and you're hoping they've dispatched air sea rescue. And oh my God, I'm bruised and broken. I'm gonna die. I don't want to die wet, and then I don't do it. Hold on. I mean, air sea rescue. Now, I don't know if you've ever been in a helicopter. I haven't, right? But they're fucking loud, right? It's like having a head in a washing machine. You have to wear earplugs and then ear defenders. Your teeth rattle. It's like that. So you're over the Atlantic Ocean at night, you go... Never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. If you crash, you die, right? But apart from that, it's brilliant. Right, so I was flying Heathrow to JFK just before Christmas, right? Boarded us early on the plane. She comes round, oh, champagne in a wine glass, like you like it, Miss Gervais. I go, thank you. She goes, excuse me, got any of them warm nuts? She went, oh, we're not handing out nuts on this flight. There's a lady getting on who's so allergic that even someone else eating nuts in the vicinity would cause her to have a fatal reaction. I went, oh my God. She went, yeah. I said, oh, of course, yeah. I was fuming. I mean, what's that got to do with me? Why can't I eat nuts just because this woman will die? Nuts. I mean, how has she lived this long? If walking by a nut kills you, if being just near a nut, how has she never been near a nut before? And how has she lived long enough, having never been near a nut? How has she lived long enough to earn enough money to be near me on a plane? Right? Honestly, it's... And if being near a nut kills you, do we really want that in the gene pool? I mean, I've never wanted nuts more. I felt that infringing on my human right to eat nuts, right? And this is how spoiled I am, okay? I actually had this... I thought, oh, no, I wish I'd bought my own nuts on, right? And I thought that for about a second. I thought, oh, no, that wouldn't work, because she's on, right? She started going, oh, blowing up like a frog, right? And right? And die, right? And then someone would go, Ricky Gervais bought his own nuts on, right? You know, right? So, of course, I don't take my own nuts on. What I do now, before I have a shower, and then I rub myself all over in nuts, in case. Because then they go, oh, can I have any nuts? I go, oh, no, not nuts. A lady getting on, so allergic, she'd die. I go, yeah, not a problem, right? He gets on, sits down, starts like a frog, going, right? What's the matter? I'm touching her all over. I go, what's the matter? What's the matter, love? And she goes, oh, nuts, right? And I go, who's been eating nuts? I get off scot-free. So I got to America, I went on the chat show, Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, right? And I told that story, the whole thing, right? And went well, audience laughed, great, went out, fine. Next day on Twitter, outrage. And by outrage, I literally mean one person going, how dare you, right? This woman had seen that. She was like, I saw you on Jimmy Fallon, it was disgusting, making fun of nut, my daughter's nut intolerant, how dare you, children die. I'm going, oh my God, who's this one? And she's tweeted me about 15 times. She starts atting NBC and Jimmy Fallon. I'm going, why is she stirring up trouble? How many followers? 23, ignore it, don't worry about it, right? And you know when you're being told off and they use your own silly words, you're like a teacher going, what, you find so-and-so funny? And because the teacher's really angry, right? Yes, you find that thing funny, whatever they... She said, would you find it funny if my daughter blew up like a frog? Yeah, because you're saying that, yes. If you said that at the funeral, I would, yes, yeah. So, right, and then someone else gets involved, Ohio Mums Against Nuts, right? And she does a blog, right, and they're talking to each other, and she puts me in her blog about how disgusting I am, how many children die, and all this sort of stuff. One of them even filmed her little girl, right? And put it on YouTube and sent me the link. And I opened the link. It was a sweet little girl, about 7 years old. And she just went, dear Miss Gervais, I have a fatal nut allergy. Delete. Not my problem, right? Ignore, right? But then one of them said something that reeled me in. Just because I'm this self-professed Twitter police, right? Try and explain to someone every day what freedom of speech means, particularly in the context of comedy, and particularly in the context of a joke, that a joke about a bad thing isn't as bad as the bad thing. It's even necessarily condoning the bad thing. It could be anti the bad thing. It depends on the actual joke. And this woman said, you should never make jokes about food allergies. I should have left it, right? I sent back, I make jokes about AIDS, cancer, famine, and the Holocaust, right? And you're telling me I should never joke about food allergies. She sent back, yeah, the Holocaust didn't kill children. Well, it did, didn't it? It was horrible, the Holocaust. Some would say as bad as food allergies. didn't kill children. Jesus. Did kill children. Oh my God, Hitler killed 12 million people, many of them children. Hitler, I've got to say, Hitler, you couldn't make him up. He is the worst human being to ever walk the face of the earth. He's a crazy, evil, racist, narcissistic serial killer. Just terrible. But if throwing a dinner party, and I'd been sitting all day over a hot stove, right? And I was getting everything ready, right? And there was one place left. And I had to either invite Hitler or that little girl with food allergies. I know who'd ruin that party more. You know what I mean? Everyone's enjoying it. How is everything? He's going, yeah, it's yummy, right? And I'm going, he's loving it. I'm going, cheers. Oh, you fuck. How you doing, boy, about that, right? She's going, I can't eat that. Oh, fucking hell. I'll get it tonight. Who wants Ferrero Rocher? Me! Right? I can't eat them. Oh, fuck off, right? But that's what the world's like. People see something they don't like and they expect it to stop, as opposed to deal with their own emotions. They expect everyone to care about their thing as much as they do, right? And it's why the world's getting worse. And the world is getting worse. Don't get me wrong, I think I've lived for the best 50 years of humanity. 1965 to 2015, the peak of civilization. Everything for tolerances, for freedoms, for communication, medicine. And now it's going the other way a little. The last couple of years, just a little blip, maybe, right? I'm not saying this just because I'm old, because that does happen. Old people say things like, oh, everything was better when I was a kid. It was, you were a kid. Everything's better when you're a kid, right? Being old is the shit bit. Whatever's happening in the world, being old is the... I wake up these days and I go, oh, fuck, I didn't die. Right? Got to do it all again. I'm usually hungover, headache, liver pains. I can't walk for the first 5 minutes because I've got no joints in the knees, right? I'm getting fat again now, right? Not thin till I was about 28, like proper skinny, like 9.5 stone, right? Then I got a job, right? And the next sort of 20 years were what I call my eating years, right? And I just got steadily fatter and fatter till I reached a peak of unwellness and blobbiness when I was about 48 years old. And it was one Christmas, I was at home, lying on the floor, right? And I was saying to Jane, I'm having a heart attack, right? And my heart rate was like 130. I felt nauseous. I had palpitations. I was sweating because I'd eaten 11 sausages. True story, right? It's like one of them snakes. You know when you see a big... like python swallow a pig whole, then it's just fucked. It's just like, it's for a week, it's like a duffel bag just there. That was me, right? And obviously I wasn't having a heart attack, but it worried Jane. She said, you've got to start looking after yourself. I thought, yeah, you're right, 48. So I started working out, right? I started working out every single day. I didn't give anything up, right? I don't eat meat anymore, but I was having like 2,500 calories, 3,000 calories a day, including wine every night, right? But I burnt it off the next day. Just so I could do all that, I worked out for an hour and a half every day, running, waiting. I had more time on my hands than the average person. I had a gym built in my house. I had no excuse. And I lost about 20 pounds, and it was great. But now, I still eat and drink too much, right? But I physically can't burn off the calories. I can't do it. I'm so old and broken and tired. So I'm steadily fatter and fatter again. And this time, I am going to die. I'm losing my hair. It's getting really thin. I know it looks great from there. Cheers. No, honestly, in a lift, right, with that light directly overhead and the mirror, it looks like an X-ray, right? I'm going to have to buzz that off soon. I'd never wear a wig. Oh, my... Guys, if you wear a wig or a toupee and you think you've got a wig, you haven't. Everyone knows. Everyone knows immediately. My brain knows a wig is coming before I do, right? I could be at a party and it'll go, there's a wig in here. I go, is there? Yes, there is. Yeah. Spidey senses for the wig. It's only the little bit of the way they smile at you like there's nothing. Telltale signs. I was put off wigs for life, though, by my Uncle Reginald. A great bloke. He's dead now. Died a few years ago, right? I was only little, right? But he went bald, and he's tragically bald. I mean, he started going bald, and his hair fell out. It might have been something. It might have been alopecia or something. I don't know. But he was bald for 10 years, into his 30s, right? Turns up one day at our house, Elvis. What is... like... And I remember I was about... I said to Auntie Edna, what happened to Uncle Reginald? And she was a miracle. They were lying. They were just... It was everyone knew he was bald, right? But he didn't bring his family in on the lie, so they had to lie as well. They're going, just grew back. Yeah, it's amazing, right? And there's so many things he wouldn't do because he was terrified of the wig coming off, right? We weren't allowed balloons at parties, right? Auntie Edna said, yeah, Reg is allergic to balloons. He wasn't allergic to balloons. He was terrified one of us kids would rub one on our sweater, right? And his wig would fly across the room. We've got photos of him in the family album, right? And if he's at a wedding or a christening and he's holding a baby, he's always holding it at arm's length. So he can't grab his wig. It must be on his mind all the time, right? It was the only thing he feared, that wig coming off in public, and this ridiculous lie being exposed. He was in the army, he was hard as nails, wasn't scared of anyone or anything, spiders, snakes, roads, wasn't scared of cancer. How's the chemo going, Uncle? Not a problem. We got a photo of him, and the last year, I think, he was 75, yeah, must have been his last year he was alive, right? And it was a hot day, and he was in the garden in his little trunks, right? He was a wizened little man by then, and white chest hair, jet black wig still. Died in it, buried in it. Buried it now. A little skeleton with jet black hair, right? Like Posh Spice for eternity, right? But I knew all that was going to happen. I knew I was going to get old and fat and ill and blind and deaf and shit myself and be pushed in a fucking bucket, right? Ready for that, because you're warned, you know everything about getting old, right? Well, one thing they don't talk about, and so you're not prepared. It's a shock to me, right? I only found out about it recently, and I'm going to share it with you now. Distending testicles. I didn't see, you don't know about it, right? But it happens in your 50s, right? I wasn't checking them or anything, but I didn't see them for 20 years, right? But all I know is, as a young man, they were pert, and now they're like two plums in a sock, right? I don't know when it happened, but it was recently, right? They just, and this is how I found out, right? So as I've been getting older, and they've been secretly stretching away, right? As I've been getting older, I've been getting richer, so my baths have been getting more and more luxurious, right? And last year, I moved into a new house in Hampstead, right? I had a big bath, put in a big sunken bath. Oh, south-facing windows. I was in there, like, the first night. Like, oh, lovely bath. Sun streaming, classical music on. I thought, this is the life. I looked down, and they're floating, right? Now, I'd never dreamt that testicles would float. Seemed like they'd be heavy, that you could tie things down with them. They'd sit, do you know what I mean? And most people never see their... Like you've got trunks on, in a shower they dangle, and baths aren't usually that deep. And that was my first thought. Oh my God, I never thought testicles would float, right? And then my second thought kicked in, which was, hold on, bath's 2 feet deep, right? And I'm sitting on the bottom, and they're at the top. What is going on? Right? And I look, and my testicles are now longer than my penis, right? Easily, by some way, right? In fact, they'd created like a fleshy sort of life raft, right? My penis was dry, just nestled, just floating on top, like that. Just bouncing around. I should have given it a little whistle. No, I'm just looking at this thing, this is bizarre, fucking hell, right? And I thought maybe it's a fluke. So to test it, I held them under the water for a minute, and I let them go, and they bobbed up. They're really buoyant, right? So try it when you get home, if you're in your 50s, right? And a man, obviously. Or Caitlyn Jenner. But the world is worse, and I blame the beginning of its demise on social media. Because Twitter and Facebook, that's where this ridiculous notion bred, right, and became stable, that it was more important to be popular than right. Everything was like me, agree with me. It falls into two tribes. Oh, I don't agree with them, so I'd block them, right? And now, in this post-truth era, people don't care about the argument. They don't look at the argument. They say, who's saying the argument? No, they're on our side, right? It's ludicrous, okay? It also bred this ridiculous notion we've always had. My opinion is worth as much as your opinion. But now we've got my opinion is worth as much as your fact, which is nonsense. I get tweets from people saying, well, I believe the Earth is 6,000 years old. Well, I believe you're a fucking idiot then, right? You can't have an opinion on the age of the Earth. You can have your own opinions, but you can't have your own facts, right? But it was all about being popular, right? And even politicians picked up those symptoms. Politicians tweet now, they want to be popular. We had a referendum about Brexit because they were passing, they didn't want to make a mistake. So, and the other thing is this ridiculous thing of, oh, let's ask the average person what they think. Let's stop asking the average person what they... Do you know how fucking stupid the average person is? We still sell bottles of bleach with big labels on that say, do not drink, right? Let's take those labels off, right? For 2 years, and then have a referendum. But it's not just politicians, even real news. The news on TV says things like, well, tweet us your news. No, don't let them tweet you the news. I saw Tyrannosaurus Rex, you liar, right? There was a big news story last year, right? It was about a train crash. Now, the train crash had happened about a year before, and there was a big inquiry. And the results of the inquiry were published this day, and so there was an expert on the news, and he was saying, we've looked at everything, and we've decided that the speed of the trains on this particular line were a contributing factor to the accident, so we're going to slow them down a little bit, and statistically speaking, this should never happen again, right? That should have been the end of it. But the guy went, wow, we went out and asked the general public what they thought. So then there was 3 banal vox pops. The first one said, well, I already pay £960 a year, so I'm not happy, right? And the next one said, well, it'll be 45 minutes each way, so it's not good enough. And the last one said, well, I always say, it's better to arrive at work late than dead. Why is that on the news? And not applicable in any situation. You know what I mean? You go, all right, Ted, you're in early. Ted? Oh, Ted. We've been through this. Remember I said I'd rather you arrive late than dead? But the big A is stupidity, right? I'll share with you the most stupid tweet I ever got, I think. All right. Now, admittedly, when I first got on Twitter, I pushed my agenda a little bit. I was an outspoken. Not because I thought I'd change anyone's opinions, but because I thought it was important to tell the other side, you know. There are still 13 countries where people are put to death just for being an atheist, and people bullied, and I just wanted to say, it's fine to be an atheist, it's fine to believe in God, and it's fine not to. That's all I was saying, really. And then I realised I didn't even have to tweet about religion or atheism. I could just tweet a fact, and that annoyed just the right people, right? I tweet things like, happy birthday, Earth, 4.6 billion years old today. And someone would always go, oh, we know what you're fucking doing, we know what you're doing, right? So, this is a tweet I got from someone after one of those I made, and it was all in capitals, which excited me. That's the sign of Twitter madness, mixed with anger. It's great, right? And I looked at his profile. Sure enough, he's a gentleman from Texas. He's a fundamentalist, creationist Christian, right? Which is fine. He loves God. He loves God and fetuses, mainly. He loves the fetus from conception to when it turns out gay. And then he's... Right. So, remember, it's all in capitals. He's shouting at me, right? Best tweet ever, right? Your science, my science, right? Science, by the way, is spelled S-C-I-E-N-T-S. Already good, isn't it? I mean, he's obviously heard the word. He took a guess. Never seen it written down, because it's not in the Bible. So he's... Your science won't help. Well, it will. It's helping him beam this little message up to a satellite and down to me. Your science won't help. And Satan, of course he believes in Satan. Why wouldn't he? He believes that God made the universe in 6 days. You're not going to say to him, do you believe in Satan? And he's going to say, bit far-fetched. Why doesn't God kill Satan? That's what I'd ask him. If I was wrong and I met God and I go, oh, you do exist? Yeah. I go, well, in which case, I've got a few fucking questions, mate. In fact, the first one would be, why did you make chocolate kill dogs? What's... mental. Also, if you hate homosexuality so much, why did you put the male G-spot up the arse? What is wrong with you? Then I'd say, why don't you kill Satan? And he'd go, what? Why don't you kill Satan? If he does all the bad stuff and you do all the good stuff, yeah, and you want good stuff, yes, yeah. I mean, you do want, yes, yeah. And you could kill him, couldn't you, if you wanted? Yes, because you can do anything easy, yeah. Why don't you kill him then? Because, shut up. Your science won't help you when Satan is raping your British ass. And he's got a point. Because if I die and I find myself in hell being raped by Satan, science has pretty much let me down. But it's this last line that he just throws away. The line that he signs off with makes this best tweet I've ever received, right? Your science won't help you when Satan is raping your British ass. I'll be laughing. So, he's there too. So he's a fundamentalist Christian who's lived his life by the Old and New Testament. He dies, he wakes up in hell, right? Which must be off the charts on the scale of emotional trauma for a Christian. You want to go, oh my God, I'm in hell. Oh my God, why have you forsaken me? I'm in hell, it's the worst place. No, it's for eternity. I'm going to be tortured for eternity. Sees me getting raped, goes, suddenly over it, is he? He's suddenly got a little bit brighter, right? Like he's not next, right? So he says, I'm raped, right, by the devil, right? And he's just there, you fucking atheist scum, right? And yeah, whatever, right? Because I mean, I assume it happens all, it's like an eternity, so yeah, whatever, go on your fear. I might say, watch your hooves on my testicles, And he'd go, why are they so distended? And I go, oh, like you're Brad Pitt. You know what I mean? Sorry, are we talking or raping? You fucking atheist. He's probably bored, and he's fucking atheist every fucking day, like that, right? And his little gargoyle comes up and he goes, Satan. And he goes, what? And I go, yeah, what? And he goes, there's a fundamentalist Christian up here. Fuck this. He'd be on him like a ton of bricks, wouldn't he? So, I got that tweet, I loved it, and all it was retweet, right? And just watch the fun, people piling on, going, loser, and all this. And he's fighting back really witlessly, saying things like, go fuck your sister, you English faggot. That makes no sense at all. And I forgot about it, went off, did something, came back. A few hours later, I'm on Twitter again. I think, oh, what's happening there, right? And it's still all going off, right? It's really funny. I'm laughing at all the replies, like people saying things to him, right? I'm scrolling down. There's one tweet just directly to me from this woman. She says, what, you find rape funny? No. What? No. What? Ricky Gervais find rape funny? No. Listen, what? Ricky Gervais find rape funny? No. Listen, everyone. Listen, right? No. So I said to her, no, I didn't tweet that. She went, no, you retweeted it. I went, well, yeah, just to show you he's an idiot. I just showed her, well, yeah, but you must find it funny. You must find it amusing. It's not, no, it's not a frivolous thing to be laughing. I said, well, no, I just, so I said, well, it's up to him, isn't it? They go, well, not really. So I said, well, it is up to him. He can do it. So now I'm arguing with quite a nice, sane person, presumably, who thinks this sort of thing's mental. But I'm for his right to fantasize about me being raped by the devil. Right? Because I'm so conscious of freedom of speech. What topsy-turvy world, right? Although her opening gambit annoyed me a little bit as well, because she did that thing that people do. She said, she didn't say, what, you find jokes about rape funny. She said, what, you find rape funny? And the answer to that is no, of course not. No one finds rape funny. Not even rapists find rape funny. Do you know what I mean? There's never been anyone giving evidence going, well, it was dark and wearing a ski mask and he was giggling. That's never... So I sent back, do you mean jokes about rape? She said, yes. Depends on the joke. Fucking does. No, it does. No, it does. It does. Depends on the joke. I said, of course it does. It's about context. It's about the content, right? I said, what do you mean by a rape joke? And she said, even a joke with the word rape in it is unacceptable. I said, that's ridiculous. It depends what the joke is. I said, and I tweeted that clip of me in the office going, I think rape up there. Right? And everyone gets that because of the context. The target is a middle-aged man who's so narcissistic, he'll say the most horrendous thing to get attention to win a silly game. So you have to understand the joke and where it's going and where it comes from. And I said, jokes don't punch up or down. They don't punch anywhere. They can just be a little pun, a silly play on words that don't really mean anything, right? And the example I gave was a joke that went around when I was a kid. Even adults told it, right? Tell you, it was a woman goes running into a police station. She says, help, help, I've been raped. And the policeman says, do you mean rape? She says, no, there was a bunch of them. Right? That is a rape joke, right? So, and I even said to her, I said, no, I agree in most, yeah, real rape jokes. Rape jokes where they're fucking horrible and the victim is the target. They're disgusting. I'd never tell those. But it depends on the joke, not the word or the subject, right? And I think I calmed it down. I said, and they agreed, yeah, some jokes are worse than others, right? And she ended it with saying, well, okay, I see your point, but still, I will laugh at a joke with the word rape in it when I know that no one in the audience has been raped, right? I should have left it. I just back, what a weird door policy. It's rubbing salt in the wound, isn't it? You turn up to a comedy gig, you pay your money, and someone says, oh, before you go in, love, can I just ask you a... Yeah. Have you ever been raped? I have, yes. You can't come in. What? Why? There's a lady, she won't laugh if you're in. Come on, off you go, right? But again, that's what the world is like. People take everything personally. I think the world revolves around them, right? Particularly on Twitter. I don't know, I'm not tweeting anyone, I'm just tweeting, okay? I don't know who's following me. I've got 12 million followers. I don't know who's following me. They can be following me without me knowing, right? Choose to read my tweet and then take that personally. That's like going into a town square, big notice board, and there's a notice, guitar lessons, and you go, but I don't fucking want guitar lessons. What's this? There's a number here. Right, call that, right? Are you giving me guitar lessons? Yeah. I don't fucking want any. Fine, it's not for you then. Just walk away. Put it back here. I should say one thing as defense. I mean, I use it as a marketing tool and for fun like everyone else, right? But one great thing about Twitter, for me personally, I'm very sort of anti-animal cruelty. And years ago, it would take ages to get 100,000 signatures on a petition standing outside Tesco's or something, right? And that's the magic number, because then it gets heard, in Parliament. And I've been of many campaigns through Twitter that we've got 100,000 signatures in days, maybe. And the law's been changed. So thank you to anyone who's ever retweeted anything to do with animal cruelty, because it really makes a difference. So thank you. But even something as, like, clear and distinct as animal cruelty, right? You think, no one's going to argue with that, are they? Yes, they will, right? They just want to be heard, right? Our tweet something about, you know, a bull being tortured in a bull ring, right, for entertainment. Ban bullfighting. Someone always says, what about the kids in Syria? What? Well, I'm not giving you a choice. I'm not... You know, you can do both. I'm not saying throw that kid back in the hole, there's a bull here, right? You can... And there's one thing that I didn't want in my head, but it exists, so we got to deal with it now that I found out through Twitter. There's a thing called the Yulin Dog Meat Festival in China every year, and it's horrendous. And we send people with money to buy the dogs to come back, but it's a drop in the ocean. They eat tens of thousands over this weekend. And I tweet the details, they're horrendous, in a petition. People don't really read it. It's a knee-jerk. People say, racist. I go, what? They go, well, we eat pigs and cows in the West. Yeah, I don't, but yeah, I used to, right? Sure, and you're right, yeah. A pig is worth as much as a dog. A cow is worth as much as a dog. It's not about the species. It's what they do to these poor dogs. And what they do is they torture the dogs first because they think it makes the meat taste better. They beat them, they blowtorch them, they even skin them alive. And I saw this picture on Twitter of this opening of this ceremony, these two guys in this Chinese square, and they're skinning this dog alive, and it's screaming, and they're laughing. I thought, that's the worst thing I've ever seen. Can I tweet that? I thought, yeah, I've got to. So I tweeted the picture with a petition, and I just said, one beautiful creature and two ugly cunts skinning it alive, right? And it took off, loads of retweets, and it made the press. I got one tweet back from a woman that said, is that language necessary? I should have left it, right? But I was incensed. I said, you're more offended by a word than by an animal being tortured to death. She said, I just hate the C word. Definitely should have left it. I sent back, people who hate the C word would hear it a lot less if they didn't go around acting like such cunts. Thank you. Good night. You've been fantastic. Good night. Cheers, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I enjoyed the show. I hope no one was offended. No, I really do, because that's never the point. I've always wanted people to know they can laugh at bad things without being bad people. And I think it's my upbringing. As I say, grew up in poverty with nothing, right? But the point was to pay your way, then have a laugh. That was the men. The women carried on working, obviously. But it was my older brother, Bob, who was about 11 years older than me, and it was him who I first saw making these dark jokes right in the bad situation. While the bad things were happening, he was making jokes about it, and people were laughing, and I realised, oh, he's healing them. That's what comedy's for. That's what humour's for. It gets us over bad stuff, right? Typical Bob story. He once spent an hour in the pound shop in Hayling Island just asking the how much everything was. Just to see if he could break this poor man's will. And Bob was the first person I saw answer back to authority. And the first authority you come across are your parents, right? And he'd have an argument, he'd get in trouble, he'd get sent to bed, right? But I thought, no, he won the argument, though, right? And he teased my mum, and... So, my mum was a typical working-class woman in that, as I say, we lived shitty area, right? And most of the houses had, like, a bit of mud and a stolen bike and fence post miss. She mended the fence, she turfed the garden herself, she painted the step, because she thought, if it looked respectable, we'd be respectable. So it was reputation, I guess. And so Bob would send her postcards that just read, is that paedophile postman still reading your mail? And she'd take it and she'd go in and she'd be horrified and she'd call Bob and go, Bob, he saw it this time, you've got to stop doing that. At her funeral, my mum died first, and my dad carried on for a year or so, just drinking beer in the garden, and he went, right? But For my mum's funeral, we sort of split up into different duties. I went and did sort of cake, flowers, and Bob went to see the local vicar. That was a mistake, right? We'd never been to church. He didn't know us. We didn't know him. So he just said to Bob, tell me about your mum so I can say a few words. And Bob saw that as an opportunity, right? So Bob, with a straight face, said to him, well, she was a keen racist. And the vicar went, oh, I can't say. Bob went, OK, but she liked gardening, right? And he was trying to get something past the vicar, so the vicar would say something and make us laugh in church. He didn't warn us, right? And he did get something by the vicar. So we're called Ricky, Robert, Bob, Ricky, Robert, Marsha, and Larry. Now, Larry is the oldest. He's in his 70s, born in the war, right? I've always thought he was the sensible one, OK? I suppose firstborn, weight of the world on his shoulders. In fact, my mum told me that when he was a teenager, he got a job and he gave her the money to bring up the rest of us to help out, right? So he's a stand-up guy, Larry, right? So Bob gives the vicar the wrong name. Didn't warn us. We're all in church, right? Start of the funeral, we're all there, right? Packed out, right? The coffin comes down, guided by the vicar, the coffin gets down. The vicar goes to his pulpit, all confident with his little notes, right? And he goes, Eva leaves behind 4 loving children, Ricky, Robert, Marsha, and Barry. And we snort like that, right? Bob's looks right. Everyone realised what's that. We were all fucking laughing. We see Larry go. Right? And the church. Every time we thought of it, we Larry go. Right. And it was just start giggling, just fits and fucking giggles, right? And Larry eventually sort of started doing this, right? And the vicar's thinking, what have I said, right? And he put in a few little things that the vicar would know about that he said would set us off again, just things that were just lies or just slightly wrong. My niece and nephew started crying, and I'd come prepared, right, with a little packet of those tissues. I was giving them those, and they were taking one and handing it on. But before the funeral, I'd taken all the tissues out, written on them, carefully folded them back and put them in. So they were pulling out a tissue, and it said, snivelling fucking bitch, right? And they're sort of laughing, right? So it was like a madhouse, right? Everything said or did, we all started just fucking laughing, right? And you could see the vicar was visibly sort of shook a little bit, right? He ended the funeral, and he made a beeline over for me and Bob, right? And he came and said, sorry, was that okay? And Bob went, it was fucking brilliant, mate. It was fucking brilliant, mate. And that's what I'm talking about. We're all gonna die, so we should have a laugh. If you can laugh in the face of adversity, you're bulletproof, okay? And me and my brother Bob had one simple rule, and that was, if you think of something funny, you've got to say it, right? Win, lose, or draw, right? It might go well. It might go badly, but you've got to say it. And bear that in mind as I leave you with this, right? So, we're all in the car one day, right? Bob's driving, right? Packed in this car, little day trip to the beach, right? And we get stopped, little security, right? And there's a British there, like that, and he just stops the car. He went, can you just pop the boot, please? So he looks there, looks in the boot, like that. Yeah, like, goes back up to Bob's window, gets that mirror on a stick thing, and he starts just looking under the car, like that. And as he does that, his helmet falls off, right? And out of the helmet falls a packet of 20 cigarettes. And the copper just went, oh, I bet you wonder what we kept under our helmets. And Bob went, I knew it wasn't fucking brains. You've been amazing. Good night.